In example 4, we're asked to find a value for k given the tangent line. So they tell us f of x equals k minus x squared, and they want us to figure out what k needs to be in order for y equals negative 6x plus 1 to be tangent to the graph of the function. So what's going on here is we've got a straight line, negative 6x plus 1, that is fixed, and we have an inverted parabola that we can essentially move up and down by changing the value of k. And so we can find one value of k that will work so that that line is tangent to the parabola. So what we're going to do is begin with our two functions. So k minus x squared. Notice that if this line is tangent to f of x at some value of k and some value of x, then the x values will be the same. So, I mean, if I were to draw a picture of this, it basically is going to look something like this. Here's my upside down parabola, and maybe this is the point of tangency here, and so I've got a tangent line touching. So the idea is that at that point, these two functions are coincident, and there's one x value, and there's one y value where those two functions are occupying the same point. So if I want to find out what x is, I really need to set these two y values equal to each other. So that means f of x is equal to y, and k minus x squared is equal to negative 6x plus 1. So this is based on the idea that the y value of the line has the same y value as the parabola at this point. Now I've got an equation, k minus x squared equals negative 6x plus 1, and I want to know what is the slope of this quadratic. Because if y equals negative 6x plus 1, if that is my function, then the slope of that line should be equal to the slope of the tangent line for my parabola, because guess what? This is the tangent line. An easy way to do this is to differentiate both sides of this equation. And so the k goes away, and I'm left with negative 2x equals negative 6. If you take a minute and you think about this, it should make sense. Negative 6 is the slope of my linear equation. And negative 2x, well, that is the slope function for my parabola. And this is beautiful because now I can solve for x and find out what is the x value that corresponds to a slope of negative 6 on this parabola. And as it turns out, x equals 3. Now I can go back to this function, substitute 3 for x, and so we have k minus 9 equals negative 18 plus 1, k minus 9 equals negative 17. Let's add 9 to both sides, and so we get k equals negative 8. Now, they didn't ask me for a point of tangency, they just asked me for k. But it might be a good idea to try to identify that. So x is 3. What would y be? So y would be, y is going to be f of 3, which is equal to k, which is negative 8, minus x squared, which is 3 squared, and that was negative 17. That was the value that we had down here. So 3 comma negative 17 is going to be my point of intersection.